Welcome to the Still Rolling podcast. My name is Matthew Montgomery. I am your host. Today I have a banger. I'm super excited. Today it's my privilege to welcome Smilin Sam Alvey to the Still Rolling podcast. Most of you know Sam for his memorable battles in the UFC, or he's currently the reigning karate combat heavyweight and light heavyweight champion. But championships and highlight reel knockouts, Sam embodies the true spirit of martial arts. He's got a spirit grounded deeply in resilience, humility, and his family. Sam's journey into Brazilian Jiu Jitsu reflects his commitment to personal growth and lifelong learning. Earlier this year, he earned his black belt in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu after years of dedicated practice, and he credits Jiu Jitsu not only for sharpening his technical skills as a fighter, but also helping shape him as a compassionate and patient person off the mats. This compassion and patience have profoundly influenced his life outside the cage as well. Sam and his wife, McKee, have 5 biological children. Still 5, right, Sam?
Yeah, 5 biological, 1
And
adopted.
have also opened their hearts and home through fostering, eventually adopting their foster daughter after an emotional journey through the foster to adoption process. Sam often shares candidly about these experiences on social media, especially on TikTok, offering honest insights into the complexities, challenges, and the joy that come with foster care and adoption. Through these personal stories, he's helped raise awareness, encouraged others, and shown that the greatest battles often take place outside of the spotlight. Whether it's mentoring young martial artists, advocating passionately for foster care, or simply setting an example for what it means to roll with life's punches, Sam continues to inspire through authenticity and unwavering positivity. Please join me in welcoming a champion fighter, dedicated father, and advocate for family and community, Smilin Sam Alvey.
Hey, well, thank you
Well,
for that. Well, that was quite the introduction. I love that.
well, good. I want to do this in a way that maybe someday you'll come back.
No, count me in. Just to hear you say all that again, I'd be back.
Good to go. So we'll start at the beginning, Sam. You grew up playing the trumpet in Wisconsin, and even worked as a nanny before you made the leap to Team Quest. When did you first start training, and what moment do you believe that you had something special enough to pursue it full time?
Yeah, so my first fight was in, I want to say 2007. I didn't start training until close to 2009. It was just, I had a good time with it, and apparently I hit pretty hard. I ended up turning pro in there, still heading trained, still never heard of the UFC, just making $200 here and there, and it was a fantastic way to be. And eventually, that is why I stopped playing the trumpet. Is the trumpet never paid me. I was very good at the trumpet. I was like, I think I should have been paid, but nobody paid me. But fighting, I was making $200 a pop. So I'm doing this now, and I just started doing it. I had opportunities. I started making a little more money. I mean, never a lot, but more and more and more. And my wife, fiance at the time, said, "Listen, you need to go somewhere where you're not the big fish anymore." Because I kind of walked through Wisconsin. I beat everyone up. I think I was 12-1 before I made the move to California. Then made the move to California, and that's where I met Dan Henderson and his team, and I learned how little a fish I was in an even smaller pond back there. And it was just eye opening how I thought I was good, and I wasn't. I was not ready for that next level, and Henderson opened my eyes to it.
Yeah, going from one level to the next is always a jump. What did your family think when you said, "Hey, I'm moving to California to fight"?
They were fine with it. They saw I was winning. They saw that there was a way I could make a living doing it. I graduated college already, and I paid for that for the next 12 years or however long it took me to pay it off. That they were fine with it. I mean, honestly, in high school, my goal was to move to California and become a stuntman. That terrified my parents. So they were thrilled when my when my next plan was move to California and become a cage fighter.
Okay, so you've fought. You ended up fighting in UFC, Bellator, MFC. Now you're Karate Combat. Looking back, is there like one fight or one moment that stands out to you as a turning point in your career?
Uh, my first win in the UFC against Dylan Andrews, that was kind of a moment that, oh, I belong here. That was the opportunity I had, and I took it. And that was the fight that said, okay, I am one of the best in the world. I've made that leap to be the next step. Now I've just got to keep growing. But
Okay.
that was the fight where it all kind of, I got my first big paycheck in my career. And at the
Yeah.
time, I was like 24-4 or something close to it. So I had a lot of fights and made no money. And there, I finally had money. I could take my wife out. I could buy a car. I could do some stuff, and I was pretty tickled with myself after that one.
That's awesome. I was sure you were going to say when you were replacing beer with water in the bottles on the Ultimate Fighter.
I had to trick him.
Yeah,
I don't think it worked, but I tried.
it's been entertaining going back and revisiting those old episodes. That was there were some characters on that show. I mean, obviously everybody knows about Let Me Bang, but
Let me
yeah,
bang, bro. Hey,
there
my
was
season wasn't that great, but I had the biggest part of any season that has ever been.
yeah, it was nuts, and you had that. You had the mattress in the pool. You had the biting incident. Not you, but
Yeah.
the I can't remember his name, but um,
James Chaney.
okay, there you go. So now you've made a career off of stepping up on short notice. What makes you willing to take that kind of risk so often, and how do you think it helped shape your career? A lot of
Yeah, it was the
people,
rise and fall of my career. I just said yes to fights. I said, all right, I'll say yes. And I always have. It's the way people knew me. I hold the record for most fights in a year with, I think there's three people I share it with. I think it's Cowboy Cerrone, Angela Hill, and tall black guy that talks a lot. I like him quite a bit. Anyways, I believe it's me and three other guys. We have 6 fights in a year with UFC, and just I accept fights. That has been always the case. That was the rise. The fall was my last 8 in the UFC. I had the longest winless streak in UFC history. I say winless. It wasn't losses because I had a draw in there. But it was last minute,
uh,
last minute, last minute. I fought Brandon Allen on 3 days' notice up a weight class because that's what was offered. I said, okay, let's do it. And so I made some mistakes in there, but it's at the end of the day, they don't make fighters like me anymore. They don't make fighters that will say yes like that anymore. And I will, for the good or the bad, I will forever be remembered as that guy that I'm not saying no.
well, you're remembered for that, but obviously you've earned the nickname Smilin Sam Alvey. I remember I have this thing when I'm watching UFC or other events. If I don't know the fighter very well, I will make absolute judgments when I watch their walkouts, and a lot of times I will assume that the guy that's smiling and carrying on his way to the octagon is likely going to lose because it's just been a stupid thing. It's like any other superstition, except for you. Your smile when you come out, it always has seemed genuine because you're absolutely having a blast being there.
Oh man, I'm getting paid
So,
to do something. I'm getting paid a lot to do something I do for free and have done for free many times. I am befuddled that people want to see this, that they're paying to watch me, and I'm just feel blessed with the opportunity. How anybody is not smiling as big as me walking to that cage is I don't get it. I don't know. I don't know why you have to get yourself in such a serious mindset to go and fight. Fighting's fun. Fighting's a blast. That's like training is the hard part. The actual fight, that's easy. That's anyone could do that.
I can identify with that. The Marine Corps, there were a lot of things where shooting guns and blowing things up. It was like, man, we get paid to do this. I'm like, this is great. Never mind, I haven't showered in a week, but that's another story.
Hey, I
Um,
have the same problems.
so this is a jujitsu podcast. It's primarily. So you were recently promoted to black belt in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. How
Yeah, it
does
took me about 19 years to get there, but I got there.
Hey, you know what? If you keep training, the belt will eventually turn black. Um, how does that accomplishment compare with other milestones that you've had in your combat sports career?
You know, it might disappoint you because you're a jujitsu podcast, but the black belt was never that important to me.
Okay.
I knew I could roll with anyone. I knew I could go and compete with the best. Now, Gordon Ryan will have his way with me. As good as I am, you get to that. There's like good black belts, and there's that elite level, and I'm not that elite level. Maybe someday I'll keep working towards it. But I had other aspirations in my fighting career. So being part of something for so long where I could compete with the best. I just didn't have the belt or the proof of it. It was never that important to me, which is why it took me so long. I always rolled in a gi. I just always skipped the tryouts because the belt promotions because I wasn't interested in it.
Sure.
But to finally have them put it on my waist, and the man who gave it to me is Chad the Beast Hardy. He's incredible at jiu-jitsu here at Guardian MMA in Tennessee. And to have someone as high ranking as skilled and awarded as he put it on me, that meant something. That was kind of fun to see someone that is as good as he is sees me as good enough to have that belt. So that's really cool part of it.
Yeah, I myself am not a black belt, but as I keep training, um, th- who ties the belt around my waist is probably more important than almost anything.
Mhm.
I think it's a yeah. You're always kind of tied to them as far as people ask, who do you train under?
Yeah,
Um,
they've been talking to me for a minute. Hey, when do you want it? I don't care. I don't care. My wife is better than me. Give it to her.
yeah,
So well, she'll get hers. But when do you want yours? As long as she gives it to me. It could be 10 years from now. As long as she's the one that puts it on my waist, I'm cool with that. And so when I got my belt, I really wasn't expecting it. I was going there to support my wife as she got hers. And then she got hers. And then she turned around and said, "All right, Sam, come up. I'm putting this on your belt right on your waist right." And I said, "Oh." So if you look at the video, I didn't even have my gi on. I had like the top, and I think I had my gold belt on from Karate Combat, and I was
yeah.
in shorts. So I,
Wow.
I was the most. I hope nobody takes it as disrespectful because I didn't mean it to be, but that's what I had with me at the time, and so that's what I put on.
No, if you didn't know, you didn't know. That is what it is, and that's actually something I didn't know. Is I didn't know that your wife got her black belt on the same day.
Yeah, she's like I said, she's better than me. I'm just bigger.
That's totally awesome. So you have trained with legends and other top level coaches. Can you share a story about a coach or a teammate that had a major influence on you?
Yeah, well, the coach Joe Daddy Stevenson. I mean, he was UFC title contender. He's been my coach for a lot of years. He gave me my brown belt. And I mean, he made me ready for black belt. But just being able to work with him for as long as I did was a real blessing. I got to work with Rafael Lovato, and he is probably, I mean, he is the greatest black belt I've ever rolled with. It's not taken away from anyone, but he was my size, and he made it very clear he could do what he wanted to me when he wanted to. So it was a lot of fun getting to spend some time with him as well. And he and I were still friends on the internet, and I hope I can get back and train with him again someday.
That's cool. And are you teaching classes right now?
Yeah,
Um,
not that much. I teach, but it's out in California. I taught everything I could. I was integral to the gym.
yeah.
Out here in Tennessee, I'm getting myself in there, but because I'm not making UFC money anymore, because I run a food truck and I have 6 kids that are always doing something. I don't have a set schedule. I don't know when I'm going to be anywhere. Like I
Okay.
forgot I was doing this with you until my alarm. I set alarms on my phone for everything.
Yeah. Yeah. It was
Like
actually
the
kind of
alarm
funny.
went
You're like,
off.
hey man,
Yeah, the
reach out the
alarm.
day of. I was like, okay.
Yeah, the alarm went off and I couldn't. What's the alarm for? So I labeled everything. It's BJJ interview TikTok. Oh, okay, I
Yeah.
remember now.
Very cool. So you have a food truck. What kind of food?
So we were until very recently we were a deep dish pizza truck.
Okay.
Then we were taking we were a food trailer. I was taking my trailer in. We were going to sell it and buy an actual truck because the trailer is nicer than I deserve, and we just weren't using it. It was too big for us. We didn't need it anymore. So we said, we'll downgrade to a truck and it'll be a little easier to get to and from. And on my way to get some stuff repaired, I was rear-ended by a big old truck. Just wiped it out. So we're still working with insurance right now, but insurance is coming through. We're gonna get a good deal on it, and we're gonna buy a food truck. But with the new food truck, we're gonna stop doing deep dish pizza. We're gonna do a lot of sandwiches, a lot of paninis, a lot of nachos, a lot of food like that. And we'll get some exotic meats, and we'll get some not just basic beef and chicken, but we'll get the lamb, and we'll get the if I can get alligator, I'll get alligator.
That's awesome. What's a food truck going to be called in case somebody in the
We
Nashville area
are
listens?
we are the food fight truck.
There you go. So I guess moving to your personal life and off the mats, you and your wife, you guys have you built a big family, including adopting a child. Can you talk about that journey and what it's taught you about love and sacrifice and even yourself?
Yeah, listen, I recommend anyone watching. You want to have a good life, marry young, and have a lot of kids. I don't care if you think you can afford them or not. You will figure out a way to afford them. It especially in America, our birth rate is down to 1.6 per fan, which is ridiculous. Do you know how? Do you know how attractive the women are here in America? You marry an American woman, make babies with that one. We need more attractive people in this world, and the American women, they are the finest on the planet. Uh,
It's
and I've
true.
been around the planet. I know I've been everywhere. Uh,
Yeah.
no, I've loved it. I've loved my family, and they're the most infuriating and rewarding thing all in the same 10-minute span. It's ridiculous how they can make you from just mad to just floating on air happy. And
Yeah.
it's a lot of fun watching them grow up and growing with them.
Yeah. And so, I mean, yeah, it's been fun. I'm an empty nester now, but, um, watching them grow. I tell guys when they're going through times on the mats and they say that, hey, I might have to take a break because, we've got baseball or we got hockey or we got all these other things with their kids. Um, I tell them, the mats are still going to be there. Go raise your kids because that is a thing that you can't get back. Because once they're grown, like we went through it last year when he went off, our youngest went to college.
Mhm.
Um, it was wonderful and it sucked all at the same time because, my wife and I kind of had to look at each other and go, like, what do we do now? Like, um, we have to get
Time to
some
train
hobbies.
jujitsu,
Well, yeah, and
or
I have my hobbies, but
I was gonna say you did what every middle-aged white guy does. You started a podcast as soon as the kids are gone.
right? Yep,
I'm sure
exactly.
that's what I'm gonna do in not too long from now.
Yeah. And you have, for anybody that doesn't know, your wife is one of America's Next Top Models. You married a supermodel, Sam,
I
and
did. I don't know how it happened, but it happened.
I saw in another interview with you where you cited religion as how you got your supermodel wife and how you're able to keep your supermodel wife and your supermodel kids. You want to talk about any of that, or is that private? Or
I, I no, every part of my life was a gift from God, and I would feel the same way about everybody else's life too. You don't have to have it's fun to say a supermodel wife, but any wife you have is going to be beautiful. It's going to be the one that loves you dearly, and that is more important than anything else. And that wife is there, that husband is there for you because God said this needs to be done. This needs to be the center of your relationship here on earth. And the good Lord gave me a pretty one, and a smart
that's
one, and a one that can cook, and a hardworking, good jujitsu. I don't know why what I did to deserve it, but he saw something in me, and I gotta spend the rest of my life trying to thank him for it.
were you raised in a religious household, or was it something that you found on your own?
No, I mean we were a religious household, like everyone else. We went to church, we talked, we prayed at dinner and all that. I don't think we were super religious, but we were religious. We were a God fearing, family. We definitely knew why every blessing we had was there. So I wish I had one of those cool stories where it was raining and it fell to my knees and scream at the sky and Jesus, gave me. No, I was raised with it. I was born with it, and I'm just smart enough to accept that it's real.
Yeah, yeah, or Jesus appeared on a piece of toast.
Yeah.
So
Hey, if that's what it takes you to get you to believe, yeah, power to you. But
yeah.
uh,
So when you're traveling and it sounds like maybe your travel has slowed down a little bit, but how did you balance fatherhood with training and traveling and being a fighter?
I just brought my kids with me. My kids, my second oldest, we actually induced labor on his due date. So he was due on the 12th. Sorry, reducing labor because we had to go to Australia 2 weeks later, and we need to get him a passport. So,
Okay.
but we didn't slow anything down. The kids just went with us. They've been to Brazil, Australia, Poland. They've been to France. They've been everywhere with me, and that was just how we did it. And the UFC was cool with it. When I fought, the higher ups in the UFC were sitting in the box office watching my kids, so I can go down
Yeah,
and do what I did. And I'd go down, I'd come back, I'd get my kids, and the UFC guys, oh, they were just wonderful. They were great. They were cheering the whole time.
that's fantastic. Um, so now that I mean, you're obviously still a champion in karate combat, but beyond fighting, as you coach, you mentor. I see a lot in your socials. You talk about mentoring younger fighters and athletes. when you're creating your content? What's giving you the most fulfillment outside of obviously your family? I think that's obviously number one. That's no question.
Yeah, just seeing the resurgence of my career has really helped. I know how good I am, but I was failing in the UFC, and so I took a step back. I changed some things, and I was able to go forward and become the double champion in one of the biggest leagues in the world right now. And that I was able to do that with myself. I said, okay, not only did I start training by myself, I made it to the UFC. I made all the right decisions, and there was always someone looking over me, helping me make those decisions. If I can be one of those people for one of these young bucks that are coming up, trying to make a name for themselves, trying to make it in this industry, I want to do it. So I started an online training program, SKOOL. I'm smiling and striking, and I'm working with everyone. I've got a free page and I've got a paid page. The paid page gets a lot more of my attention, but I work a lot with the free page as well. Um, and I just do everything I can to be, years from now when they're fighting for that championship, they get their hand raised. I want them to, they don't need to credit me, but I want them to be in the back of their mind. Sam helped me do this. Sam was there, and little rewards like that. And so far, everyone that has joined my page, they've won their next fight. So right now, I'm batting 1,000 with people that I've been working with online.
That's fantastic. And what is the website specifically so that
Smiling and striking on school, SKOOL.
okay. So I'll go check that out. You have kept such a like a positive and grounded vibe even when things weren't going your way. Where does that mindset come from? And if you find yourself getting off of a certain course, how do you course correct to get back into game mode?
Um, I don't have a good answer for that. It's just what I've always done is I know what I need to do. I know what's worked for me, and I had to correct it. I started doing too much. I started trying to change too much, trying to add too much. I know what kind of fighter I am. I know what I'm good at. I know what I'm bad at. It's time when I made that switch from UFC to karate combat, I said, all right, I'm going to focus on what I am best at, and that's what I've been doing. Then I said, okay, I'm going to focus on what I'm worst at, and that's what I made a big difference. What I problem of mine is I've always walked backwards. I've always fought backwards. People
Yeah.
figured it out. The pit in karate combat forces me to go forwards, and it's just changed the way I fight a little bit. It's made my timing a little better. It made everyone else's timing a little worse, and that is now my the way I fight is I push forward. I get them to walk backwards, and it's worked really well for me.
Obviously you're carrying multiple belts, and you've had incredible longevity in the fight game. What role has I know that jujitsu is kind of your second love, but or third or fourth. But what role has jujitsu played in keeping you healthy and sharp? And
You know,
still,
the most athletic thing anybody will ever do is wrestling. That's any martial art. Wrestling will make you more athletic than anything else. Problem is, you can't wrestle once you're out of school. The only time you're ever going to really wrestle is high school, and if you go on to college. That's where you're wrestling 2 to 4 hours every day. Every day.
Mhm.
So once you're an adult, once you're out of school, you can't do it anymore. Jiu-jitsu is the next in line. Jiu-jitsu is the most athletic building thing outside of wrestling that anyone can do. So since I've joined Karate Combat, a purely striking league, I've done more jiu-jitsu than I've done anything else. I'm in the mats every day, all day. It's crazy how I've been able to become a karate champion doing jiu-jitsu more than anything else.
I've
I'm
noticed.
more of an athlete now than I was when I was with the UFC.
Yeah. Now, as you've aged, have you had to? And you're not 40 yet or anything like that, but a lot of the people that I'm interacting with, we are the gray beard community. We're in our 40s, 50s, some 60s. Was there a have you had to adapt your game as you've started to click some years and maybe gain a couple grays in that beard?
No, I've just gotten stronger. That's really, really what it is. So I was
The old
always
man
scared of
strength.
getting hurt. I was always scared of getting hurt in the UFC. So I lift, but never that much. Like I didn't want to hurt myself. I'm in karate combat. I don't care if I get hurt. I'm in the gym an hour and a half every morning before my first jiu-jitsu practice. I go
Yeah.
to the gym and I'm lifting as heavy as I can every day of the week. And I have gotten so much bigger, so much stronger. And it's, I tell everyone, I had a choice. I could either get better at jiu-jitsu or I had to get stronger. And I went the stronger route. I've
What are you
never
walking
looked
around
back.
at right now?
I'm about 245.
Okay, fantastic. I'm right at 245, 6'2".
Yeah. So when I fight, I'll cut down to 205, or my other belt is heavyweight, where I'll just stick at 245.
Like, what does that even look like? So I'm a hobbyist. I've never had to cut weight. I've always accepted that I was kind of in the ultra heavy weight class. What does that even look like if you're walking around at 245 trying to get down to 205?
Really, is you just stop eating bread. If you stop eating bread, you'll lose as much weight as you want to lose. Bread is not bread anymore, and I've looked into this. Bread is something else from what it used to be, and it does nothing for you except put calories on you. If you just stop eating bread, you'll lose whatever weight you want to lose. It's crazy. There's only one way to lose weight. It's calories in, calories out. That is it. Bread adds so many calories that don't nourish you, that don't make you feel full, that don't do anything except make you crave more bread.
Yeah.
That's what bread does. So when it comes time to diet, I just stop eating bread, and it's I lose whatever weight I want to lose.
So same game plan, same training, no bread.
Yep. Yep,
Okay.
I'll increase my protein. You can eat as much protein as you want. Protein is great for you. Your body uses it,
Right.
and it'll tamp your hunger down a little bit too. So I do as much protein as I can and zero carbs. Can I put you
Okay.
on hold for 1 sec? I got to tell my kid something real quick.
Absolutely. Okay.
All right, I am back.
You're just fine. I'm not going anywhere, and I appreciate you taking the time. So, um,
No, truly my
I've
pleasure.
got,
And I do these all the time while I'm driving. Most because I've got so many
okay,
kids, I'm always driving somewhere. I just got it. My
sure,
wife is a midwife, and I just got a text saying she needs her scrubs. I said, okay,
okay,
I'll bring you your scrubs.
okay. So while you're on your way there, I'll ask you a couple more questions. Is there anything you wish somebody had told you when you were starting out? Um,
Had I known there was no money in MMA, that might have changed things. Like we all have hopes of we're gonna make it, we're gonna be billionaires, and people are gonna love us, and the sport's huge, and that is not the case.
yeah,
The
yeah.
case is
That's
there is no money in MMA. Hey, there's more now than there used to be, but it is. I am immersed in MMA. Everything I do is MMA. So it seems big to me, but the rest of the world
yeah.
doesn't care at all about MMA.
Well, it's an interesting thing. So, I spent a couple of years on the football staff at OSU, and there, everybody's a tremendous athlete. Everybody thinks that everybody on the team's going pro. And when the reality is you really have just a handful of guys that ever actually make it in the NFL beyond, maybe a year or two. So that's not necessarily where you need to put all your eggs in your basket as far as that catch with young athletes. So yeah, that's making money as an athlete. Sometimes people who are not in the game, they don't understand what the money's actually like. Um, so
Yeah,
now you've
it's nuts. So had I known that, I would have changed some things.
yeah. Well, speaking of changing things, you've moved your family to Nashville, where according to everything I'm reading, you've got somewhere in the neighborhood of 60 dogs, cats, horses, goats, chickens. At one point,
Well,
you I guess had a pet kangaroo and a wallaby.
yeah, we like to say we've got 112 heartbeats on our ranch. So we
You're at
very much the
112.
112 heartbeats. Yeah, I haven't had the wallaby in a long time. That was back when I was in Wisconsin even. But yeah, I had a
Okay,
wallaby for a while. Don't recommend him.
okay. And so time's undefeated. Eventually, retirement as a fighter is inevitable. Um, what do you hope to accomplish once you're out of that arena completely as a participant? What kind of life do you envision?
Well, I'm hoping I win the lottery any day now. Mr. Beast has got this thing coming up where if I win, I'll get like $10 million. So I'm really putting a lot of money into or money, lot of effort and thought into the winning that.
Okay.
But
Is it a
no,
strategy? Do you buy as much as you can, or
yeah, and it's really just praying. He gave me a supermodel wife. Maybe he'll give me $10 million too with the good Lord. So we'll
you
see
know
what
what?
happens.
When I wake up one day and I see that Smilin Sam Alvey just won the lottery, I'm gonna go, gosh darn that guy.
Oh, I will. Yeah, if that's the way it works out, I will be baffled. So, man,
Yeah.
I am destined for something good. I got to figure out what it is. Uh, um,
Well, you are, you've figured out a lot of what you're destined for. You're a good husband and a father and a fighter. It seems like you've got and have had your priorities straight for a long time. And um, I know you're taking your wife some scrubs that she needs for her stuff. Um, so, um,
yeah,
is there anything else you want to talk about or plug or anything to
yeah,
go over?
no, to more seriously answer your question, when I'm completely done fighting, 15, 20 to 20 years from now, uh, I want to be a coach. That is one of the reasons I started my school program right now. Is I want to. I have been blessed with so much that I was a band nerd. I should not have become one of the greatest fighters to have ever lived. And I say that modestly because
Yeah.
people are like, oh, you weren't the champ. No, but in all reality, I could beat every person that has ever lived. So it's just the fact at this point. I want to help other people achieve their dreams. It wasn't
Yeah.
necessarily a dream of mine, but it worked out. If I can be that guy that helps guide the next generation of fighters into that realm of excellence, that is what I want to do. I want to help people get there.
So, do you see yourself running your own gym someday, or do you think you'll work within another?
I, I, I'm putting all my efforts into the school, the online training. The
Okay.
problem with, and then I work with the gyms I work with, so Guardian MMA and Militia MMA here in Tennessee. I work with them. I coach a little bit with all them. I don't want my own gym. Maybe that'll change someday, but I I've spent my whole life around fighters, and I know how unreliable we are. Um, and I don't want to base the rest of my family's future on that. If I
Okay.
can help people from a distance or bring them in to work with me, or if they love it, they stay and work with my gym, Guardian MMA, that is what I want to do. And then I've got my food truck as well, and we've got a couple other little things that are going on. And our food truck, we've been a food truck for about 3 years, and we're profitable. We're making money every year, and it's like we're doing pretty well with that. So I'm thrilled with having that business.
Well, that's a
Um,
win. I seriously do appreciate you talking to me. Time is one of those finite things that you can't create more of, and so you being willing to give up some of your own time for a stranger that just kind of randomly reached out, I appreciate it.
No, it truly is my pleasure, and I hope your podcast takes off. Well, once it's huge, once you are the next Joe Rogan, please let me back on.
You know what? I'll always be happy to have you on, and if I become a Lex Friedman or Joe Rogan or a Jocko, that's wonderful. But if I can help maybe one or two other people get into combat sports, jiu-jitsu, and stay on the mats and keep training, or find some other way to provide some kind of a mentorship, then that's worth doing all this. So, but again,
Well,
Smilin Sam Alvey, thank you.
oh, you are very welcome, sir. Thank you for the kind introduction, the great conversation, and I look forward to speaking with you again.
All right, sounds great. Thank you, Sam.
All right, you too, sir. I should say you're welcome, sir.
Thank you.